welcome to the podcast of Game of Thrones Season 2. We have our guest Mona here. Say hi, Mona.
Hi.
We're going to get into a little husband and wife discussion on Season 2, Episode 2 of Game of Thrones. The topics we're going to get into in this podcast is Jon Snow weak?
How honorable is Tyrion?
Is Daenerys all talk?
Who truly deserves the throne?
How degrading is the Game of Thrones to women?
Will Theon rise up against Robb Stark?
And how low would you stoop for money?
Will Joffrey turn on Queen Cersei?
Do men sell out for sex?
Ow! Tyrion versus Cersei.
Let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is run down the whole episode from beginning to end and go through scene by scene. Before we get it started, who's your favorite character?
Favorite character is Arya, so, you know.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm glad to see her. Because she's really, really strong for such a young girl, you know, and she's pretty brave, you know, to stand up to so many people. She stood up to so many people, you know, ever since the beginning of the season. So, you know, I really like her. And I can't wait to see her get what she wants, you know?
Any predictions about what she's going to do?
I think she's eventually going to get back to her family, you know, and I feel like she's going to maybe she might fight the war with Robb, you know?
Does she know that Robb is out? I can't remember. Does she know that Robb Stark set up an army and is king of the North now and going to King's Landing?
I don't think so, because how would she know? She ran away before all that happened.
She just ran away. Right. I have a lot of favorite characters. I think mine is Robb Stark, but I'm really, really liking Tyrion a lot. The first scene I'm going to sort of skip. It wasn't that relevant. It was basically Arya with the quote-unquote bastard of the old king, Robb Baratheon. I don't really know his name. I think it's Gegrin, something like that. And they're in an area, and some soldiers from King's Landing come by saying they're looking for him. But the leader of that area, of course, he's the one who helped Arya escape. He doesn't want to give them away. He doesn't say that they're there. He puts a knife to the groin area of the soldier on the horse and tells him, you know, just go back where you came from. And the guy says that he's going to come back with more soldiers. So we'll see how that plays out. The next scene after that is, you know, the bald-headed guy in part of the small council of the Lannisters, the fat guy. His name is Varys. He's sitting. He's sitting with I don't know, Tyrion' prostitute, basically the quote-unquote whore he brought back from wherever he was. And I hate that girl for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like she's really sneaky.
I don't think she's sneaky. I just feel like she's stupid. Like, she just needs to be smacked.
Yeah, a lot of girls in this show need to be smacked.
I don't know. She's so, like, ditzy, and, like, I feel like she's just a troublemaker. Like, go get a life. But anyway, so Varys, the part of the small council, right? He finds out about, you know, Tyrion walks in and sees that he's talking with that girl, and no one's supposed to know that she's there in King's Landing.
Isn't his name Tyrion?
Is it Tyrion or Tyrius? Why do I keep calling him Tyrius? His name is Tyrion. I don't know. There's just so many names, so it's Tyrion. So then, what do you think the conversation between Tyrion and Varys?
I don't think it was significant at all, actually. I mean, I don't think that girl is going to cause that much, you know, trouble, you know, for him. Like, it's not really that serious. Unless she does something sneaky. I don't know. I mean, just the line that he said in the end, like he said, you betrayed Ned.
I don't know. I don't agree with you. I think that's going to be an issue. It's just, it's something about, like, what's important about the scene is that it's showing Tyrion, like, I love how he stands up. Like, it's just so cool, like, how Tyrion just comes out of nowhere, and, you know, it's something. I feel like something is going to happen with Tyrion. As we know, we found out later that he exiled one of the other small council members. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So
That was pretty awesome.
that was pretty sick. So I don't know. There's something here where, and then, you know, he tells him, I don't like threats, as he walks out. And then the guy tells him, well, you know, Ned's, you know, tells him how that he's not Ned Stark's. And then, so Tyrion tells him, I'm not Ned Stark's. I don't like threats. And then he replies back to him, Ned Stark's was an honorable man. And then Tyrion replies back, and I'm not. Threaten me again, and I'll have you thrown into the sea. So I love how Tyrion just shows his guts there. So it says something's going to happen with him. Let's find out. Let's move on to the next scene. Queen Cersei, she reads the letter from Robb Stark about them declaring freedom, and obviously she just rips it up. Let's just to be clear, Queen Cersei is the Lannister, and Daenerys is the dragon lady of the Targaryen. So she reads the letter to the small council. Again, not very relevant, but she just rips it up.
She loves ripping up stuff.
When did she rip up stuff last time?
She's invented the whole process of ripping up things.
When did she rip anything up before?
She ripped every letter she gets. She rips up. She thinks she's done with it by ripping it up. She's like, yeah, I'll just rip it up and call it a day.
It's like the bill you get, and you just rip it up. That works though. When you rip up the bills, it makes you feel good.
She needs to come up with a new tactic of trying to show off, because it's not working anymore.
I think she has a couple of good tactics. Don't mess with Cersei. Get out of here.
She's gonna get killed in the end. Watch.
Whoa.
She's gonna get killed by her own son.
Who? Tyrion? No. Tyrion's not her son. Joffrey? That would be sick. Then they read. Then after that, they just throw it away, and then she sends a message back to them saying, "Tell Jaime that he's not been forgotten." Then they also read another letter from Mormont. He's the commander of the Night's Watch. That's what I realized. The Mormont is commander of the Night's Watch with Jon Snow and them. And then I guess they request some, help. And that's it, Then that's not really that much of an important scene. The next scene is the Night's Watch guys are talking. And then there's that fat kid, Samwell. He talks about how greedy it is for one man to have so many wives. And then the other kid talks about how he used to wrestle with... So is that how we describe sex nowadays, wrestling?
No, he said that he used to wrestle with a young girl that when they were kids, they used to play. And then when they got older, they wrestled in a different way, quote unquote. Oh. And then the fat kid asked him, he was like, oh, how many times did you do it? He said, as many times as I can. So I feel like guys in this day and age, whatever they can get, they'll get it, That's what it seems like. But, but the more important part of the scene, which I found was really interesting, was how the kid tried to save one of the girls, which was pregnant, one of the daughters and wives of that man. And Jon Snow didn't want to save her. He didn't want to save her, but he realized later that he should have, given, what happened to the baby, which you're going to get to that.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's what probably was at the end. Yeah. They take the boys. So we're jumping ahead at the end of the scene, at the last episode, end of the scene.
Yeah, at the end of the whole episode, basically, Jon Snow realized he followed that. What is that guy's name?
Oh, the husband. I don't even know his name, honestly. He's mentioned it. Yeah, the guy who's the leader of the village is married to all the wives. They don't really say his name.
Yeah, so he basically takes all the born sons, not daughters, but sons. Every girl that gets pregnant and has a baby boy, he takes them and he feeds them to, what are they called? The Night Walkers?
The Walkers. I think it's, it wasn't clear, but I saw the blue eyes and it looked like the Walkers. So that's probably what it is. I'm pretty sure.
Walked in the middle of the night and into the snow. He took the baby, laid it down, and then the baby got eaten somehow by something. And Jon Snow discovered that. And I think that's why in the next, episode, he's probably going to want to save one of the girls, or maybe a couple of the girls, Well,
do you think he's even I have a feeling that guy's gonna hold him captive or something hopefully without.
Oh yeah, and then the guy caught him in the end. Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm sure Jon Snow's gonna get out of it because he has his big wolf to protect him.
So yeah, I mean, Jon Snow, he's like the perfect character that needs I don't know, man. He needs confidence, right?
Yeah, he needs confidence. He's really strong, but at the same time, he's really weak. So I don't know.
Like most people.
Really,
I mean,
it's like he's scared to stand up. Because everybody's always putting him down, calling him bastard, and telling him he's nothing but a night watchman. But really, I feel like he's gonna step up soon.
I think it's a great character to demonstrate, when people are talked down to a lot, sometimes they end up believing what people say about them. And that's it's really sad. And I think Jon Snow is a perfect example of that. It's he has power inside of him. He wants to grow, and he stands up sometimes. But then the moments come where he just backs down. Like number one, when he was going to go to help to join Robb Stark's army. And he didn't. He stayed behind. I think he should have left the Night's Watch and just went with Robb because this is a critical situation. And he was going to save the pregnant girl. Suddenly he wants to be Mr., just. I mean, it's when these critical situations happen, there's no thought that you have to do what you have to do. So this pregnant girl comes and she needs help, and then he wants to deny her. So I think he's suffering the fate of his stupidity in some cases. So, but then in the next scene, actually, was pretty awesome. This was back with. This is Queen Daenerys. She was with the Dothrakis, and the horse gallops in with the decapitated head of Rhaegar, right? Rhaegar, he's just was one of the guards, right, of Drago.
Maybe he was Drago's brother. I'm not sure. I think he was Drago's brother.
Oh wow.
Other brother. Yeah. Okay. I think he was his other brother. And, you know, he got decapitated. I don't know why or who did it, but, you know.
It's gonna be interesting to find out. Who do you predict? I'm thinking. I know what I think. Who do you think did that?
I don't know. I mean, he probably just. I don't even know where he was going in the first place, honestly. But like, I feel like, because I'm so confused with her and her tribe. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
They're pretty much. They're just lost. They're just exiled. They're just looking for a way, to civilization. I guess. That's all. And
Maybe he went to. King's Landing, and then maybe they didn't let him in, or I don't know, something like that. But I don't even know if it's in the same region. I don't know.
I don't think he even made it that far. I
don't know what's the story.
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's the walkers. We gotta look at the map and see exactly where they are. And then his wife, cries. It's just really sad, of course. Like when you see, I can imagine if it's just sick.
Honestly, I'm sorry. I don't want to imagine that.
Really bad. I mean, just the fact, not even you have to imagine the decapitated head, but just suddenly getting, just getting the dead body of, like a loved one, The next thing is, so Daenerys vows that she's going to perform a ceremony for him and avenge his death. I don't know. She sounds like she's all talk sometimes to me, though. Like, again, she's like, yeah, I will hold a funeral for him. And she's like, they will get. I mean, come on, Daenerys. What have you done before in the past, dude? Like, go back home.
The only thing she did was prove that she was a dragon. That's about it. But I think she's lost. I think she's confused about what to do. And she's dragging these people along with her, But maybe the fact that she's a dragon will give her some power in the end when it comes time for the war. So, I don't know. I mean, she's a dragon, so we'll see.
I could imagine. You know what I'm imagining? There's a crazy clash for the Battle of the Thrones, and suddenly, Queen Daenerys flies in with her dragon.
She's gonna kill them all. She's gonna take over. That's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know what? I would be really disappointed if that happens, dude. Because like all these people, I mean, it's not fair. Just because she's a dragon, she gets to kill everybody with her fire. Like that's not fair.
Let her get some, some props. I mean, she needs some help.
Like in the whole thing, like she's just this person. Like she's not that significant of a person,
Why do you say that? She's not that significant because she's not Cersei. Queen, she is significant. She wants to make herself significant.
I think person that's more significant is Robb Starks. He's more significant. He should take take it down, basically. Nobody else, because he deserves it. His father got assassinated, essentially, So.
Well, the bottom line is there would be no story if all these other people didn't think they deserved it, right? Because Stannis thinks he deserves it, Renly thinks he deserves it.
Everybody thinks they want to be king, That's why I feel like it's kind of stupid. Like, only certain people really deserve it. I don't know where Stannis came from. He just came out of nowhere.
No, Stannis he's the rightful heir. He's the oldest brother. Come on, Renly's the one, his younger brother. No, Stannis.
Robb Starks is the one that truly deserves it, and he's gonna get it.
The funny thing is, I don't even know who deserves it, but the thing is, Robb Stark doesn't even really want it. He wants to be king of the North, right? So he's actually backing down.
He deserves to fight the war. That's what I mean. Like, I don't care about being king. I just want him to fight the war and win.
I will see. So let's move on. Robb Stark, his friend is named, he's on the ship and then gets off. His name is, I think, his dirty friend, Theon, I think, or Theon. He's Robb Stark's friend. And, I always say Starks, but it's actually Stark. I get confused when I say Stark or Starks.
Understand is that he lived with the Stark family and he was raised with them for like 10 years or something, and then his father fought against Stark somehow,
probably,
yeah, and then go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. At one point they fought, I think that's what it is. And then if you remember, it's a key because in last episode Lady Stark said that she doesn't trust Theon's father, and she ends up being right because in this episode, Theon has sex with some ugly girl, and then oh, actually, okay, nothing happens actually in this scene. Oh, let's just skip it. Nothing happens really. They just have sex on the ship.
No, well,
that's the next scene. It comes later. Yeah. Well, we might as well get to it. In that next scene, what happens is he meets his sister, who obviously we didn't. What's going on with all this incest during medieval times?
Well, he didn't know that was his sister. She just came and picked him up and said, "Okay, I'll take you to. I'll ride with you to the thing." And then he starts, trying to, mess with her just so he can, because he's freaking sick like that. And then eventually he spills the word saying, "Oh, I want to become king and I want to get my father to make me king." And then he doesn't know who she is, actually. It turns out that she's actually his sister. And then, of course, he did get grossed out about it, which made me happy, yeah. Yeah. But then eventually, he finds out that the sister is the one that has been, fighting and been kind of like the second hand to her father the whole time that he was gone,
So
I think he said something about, the father said something about the sister's going to fight the war with him.
Right.
Instead of Theon.
So he's taking the letter to his father from Robb Stark, which basically the letter tells his father to join forces and help him defeat, his Robb's enemies, and then if they do that, Robb will make his father king of the islands of his area, which he was in the past. So when he takes that letter to his father burns it. Of course, everyone loves burning letters. I mean, these letters, they work hard for these letters. I feel so bad. I mean, the ravens send them over the seas, and he burns it and basically just laughs in Theon's face and just says, "You know what? I'm not gonna follow this." And he starts picking on him, right? He says like, "Oh, it's like you've become their, bitch." And he's making fun of his clothes and their jewelry and stuff like that he got from them. There's some stuff to be said here about like how fathers who don't grow up who don't raise their children still kind of feel like they have the right to kind of like, order them around, but they didn't even put in, the time to raise them. And I think Theon shows his loyalty to the Stark family because they raised him. I like that a lot about him, like I actually felt that he was really loyal,
Yeah, but I didn't like the part where he kept on saying, "I'm going to be king, I'm going to be king." Like, I don't know if he was talking about being king of the islands or being king of something else.
He meant being king of the islands. It's like his friend is going to make his father king, which is cool. Robb will be king, and then one day he'll be king, you know what I mean? Like, of the islands, since his father is king, Which that could be some interesting, in the future, what happens with that. But I don't know. I trust Theon. I think he's loyal to Robb. Then the next scene, the head prostitute in the pleasure house of Peter's, she cries while she's, doing it with one of the guys, and not important, but
I felt like it was important, but it was important to know that the guy, I don't know his name, but that the head guy of the owns the whole prostitute house, he was kind of threatening her, telling her, like, if you don't, behave basically and do what you got to do, then you're gonna have one really bad night to make me my money back, right. So I felt like it was kind of like mean, you know what, these people are sick and disgusting anyway, so it's not uncommon.
But there was an interesting quote Peter says. He says, sometimes those with the most power have the least grace. It's funny that he says that because he's the one with the least grace. But let's move on. Tyrion has an encounter with his sister, the Cersei, and before she comes in, he talks with Janos, who is one of the small council members of the King's Landing Lannister family, and Tyrion exiles him. They get into this discussion. This is one of the scenes where I think people really need to review. It's one of those things. I love conversation. I really love quotes and the witty things people say, and this is one of those scenes that had a lot of witty things, and Tyrion's definitely really witty. But Tyrion gets into this thing and gets a discussion with him and says, "Were you the one who ordered, Ned Stark's head?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And then he said, that he just follows orders, and he says, "Orders are orders." So the guy says, "I hadn't realized peace depended on killing babies." This is what Tyrion says, and then the guy says, "Orders are orders." And then he says, Joffrey's my king. The rest doesn't really matter. So you see here their ultimate like obedience to the king, submission. And I don't even think we have to talk about that. That seems to be what. I mean, there is a discussion here, which is like, not to venture off too much, but Tyrion is suggesting that if you're asked to do something wrong, like if you're at war or there's military power or you're some figure of authority, if you're asked to do something that you think goes against your values, should you do it, or should you not?
I think Tyrion thinks that he shouldn't do it, and that's why he wanted to exile him, because he felt like it was something that's wrong and he shouldn't have did it. He shouldn't have done it, especially the killing babies part, And then it's funny because after he sent him away, he asked his loyal soldier, I don't know the guy's name, but his buddy that's traveling with him everywhere. He said, you're the new councilman. And then he asked him, he said, if you were asked to kill babies, what did he say? He said, if you were asked to kill babies, if you were ordered to kill babies, would you do it? And he said, or would you deny it? He said. Right. And then I think he said, he responded by saying, well, I would ask how much, something like that. Right. Basically, which is like, he just got like screwed there, basically. Tyrion just got screwed because like he just, sent the guy away for killing babies. And now, he has somebody that's his right-hand man, supposedly. And now he's ready to do anything, basically. So.
Right. His name is Bronn, by the way. He's the one who he fought for Tyrion when he was captured by Lady Stark, and he was freed. But yeah, I think Tyrion realizes that everyone can be bought and everyone has a price, which is pretty scary and sad. I mean, I guess it's a question to ask yourself: do you have a price? Think about that. Like, can you be bought to do something? Like, if someone came to you to do something, whatever it is, that you think is really evil or bad, or it goes against who you are and your values, is there a price where you'll give in? Is there an amount of money that will let you break in and do it? It's definitely something worth thinking about. What do you think? Of course, everyone's gonna say no, but I just think about it. What do you think?
No.
Okay, so we have the answer. So yeah, of course we got to say no. We never know what's gonna happen until we're on the line, and someone's like, yeah, go do this, and you'll have $1 billion trillion.
If it goes against my values, no. Like killing babies, hell no.
So if someone said, you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're in the middle of a desert, and there's a baby, and there's a guy, and he said, if you kill this baby right now, you will have $100 million right now of gold.
What am I gonna do with $100 million in a desert?
But see, that's the problem. Why are you even thinking about what you're gonna do? What do you think about what you're gonna do with $100 million? Are you gonna do it or not? That means there's
desert. I don't need $100 million. I'd rather take the baby.
Oh, so if you were able to use $100 million, so that shows that.
I would not kill a baby. No, I would never kill a baby, let alone a human being, especially not a baby. Hell no. That never happened to me. I don't care if you decide to kill me first. You can kill me, but don't make me kill a baby.
But when I first asked you the question, you said, well, what would I do with $100 million?
It was kind of weird. Like, you were like, oh, in the middle of a desert with $100 million. Like, that's random. Like, it's not going to happen. But if somebody asks me to kill a baby, I'll tell them kill me, because I can't kill a baby. Like, seriously, it's not. Maybe guys can, but not girls. Sorry.
So,
what about you, mister?
No, I wouldn't. Of course not. I would not go against my values no matter what, no matter what the cost is. It doesn't matter. Values are values. See, with me, I don't, even
people at this day and age, in this time period, all their importance was who has more authority than the other, and who is, has more gold and has more money than the other, So I think that's why the value of like money and stuff like that. And when you tell people, oh, I'll give you this much, just do it. The authority really played a big part, like who's king and who's not king. Like, but really it's just a label, but they don't understand that. That's why Robb Starks, when he said before, he was like, oh, who doesn't matter who's king. Oh, I'm going to call myself king of the North. So it's really just a label,
Well, yeah, I think no matter what time you live in, money is valuable to people and gold is valuable and people can be bought. I know with me, I don't even look towards the money. I look towards my values first. and I see if it goes against it, you know. Now, obviously, if something isn't as bad, you know, that you're not sure, maybe that could be something people can be bought with by.
That's why I feel like in the end, what's her name? Cersei. I feel like in the end, she's gonna get killed by her own, you know, creator, her own creator, the person who she created, which is her son. She made him get so arrogant and so cocky and so big, and be able to do all these things, including killing babies. You know, which is something she probably did not believe in. Because you remember when Tyrion, after that scene, he asked her, he was like, "Oh, did you order it or did somebody else did?" And then she said she kind of turned away and she went all the way to the corner and she was like weeping and she was like, "Oh, it was something that had to be done." I feel like in the end she's gonna keep saying yes to her son and make him grow so arrogant and so big that he could possibly, you know, terminate her. You know. So it's like, you know, she's creating something that is a force to be reckoned with, honestly. Like, it's something really scary.
That'd actually be pretty interesting if he does that. This is coming from
he might do that. He might kill her or he might send her far, far away, you know?
And this is coming from the person who just said he wouldn't kill a baby for $100 million. But it would be kind of cool to see Queen Cersei get hers by King Joffrey. And we know that it's possible because, you know, in episode 1, he slapped her, you know, and told her, "What you did is punishable by death. Don't ever do that again," which kind of shows that he's not going to take anything from her anymore.
Yeah. And I think when he finds out that it's his uncle that's his father and not him, and he really is not supposed to be the king, he's really going to go crazy.
Next scene, Arya talks to, I still don't know this kid's name, which is I believe it's the King Rob Baratheon who died. I think this is his quote-unquote bastard son. They call him Gegerin or something like that. Arya's with Gegerin, and he tells her, he finds out that she's Ned Stark's daughter, and then he calls him a traitor, and then she says, "My father wasn't a traitor," and he starts teasing her about being a lady, and that's it. Nothing really important happens, right, Mona? Yeah. The next scene is Robb Stark's friend. This is where we already talked about this earlier. Theon, he meets his sister and he's like touching her and stuff, and then realizes that's his sister, and then he goes delivers the message to his father that, you know, Robb Stark wants him to help him and he'll make him king of his area, but his father denies and walks away with his sister, saying that she's my, you know, she's gonna fight with me or whatever. And Theon, I think, holds his own and shows that he's loyal to Robb Stark's, right?
He didn't deny. I don't think he denied. He said there was gonna be a war. He said we're gonna fight something, but he said not against Lancaster or land what is it called, Lannister. He said there's gonna be a war. He said, but it's not gonna be against Lannister. So then he just kind of walked away. So you don't really know who's gonna fight against now, you know. So it's kind of scary. Yeah,
that was actually pretty interesting. He says as he walks away, he tells his dad he won't stand a chance against the Lannisters, right? Yeah. And then his dad says that he's not talking about the Lannisters, basically. So we don't. Who the hell is he talking about?
I don't know. I think he might. I mean, he has nobody else to fight against, but he might probably fight against Robb Starks.
I mean, what an idiot! It's so annoying when people just go against the grain for the hell of it. Like, why do you want to go against Robb when you know that Lannisters are the problem? Yeah. Like, you know, people like that. It's like,
in his mind, Lannisters aren't a problem for him. It's really the Robb that's a problem for him.
Why is Robb a problem for him?
Because he was a traitor, not a traitor, but they had issues. Him and his father, Ned Starks, they fought, and Ned Stark's army or whatever, when they were in war, they killed his sons. They killed that other guy's sons.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
That I missed.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he killed your own, you don't remember when they killed your own brothers? And he said, or did you forget your blood? And the kid said, no, I didn't forget my blood, you know?
So what I think
probably, you know, wants to get revenge from him, you know?
What I think is going to happen is the father is going to go out against Robb while Robb is trying to go out against the Lannisters.
But he's not going to win.
But then Theon's going to be stuck in the middle, you know, which is going to be awkward for him. But a really great quote I loved, it was from the father. He goes, "No man gives me a crown, I will take my crown." I thought that was a great quote. And then another great quote was by the sister. She says, "Anything with a cock is easy to fool."
Oh yeah, I love that one.
What do you think about that one?
That's perfect. That's classic. Honestly, it's true. Okay, it's really
moving on.
Yeah, it's true. That's it.
All right, no comment. You want to comment on this?
It's true.
Okay.
That's what's been happening throughout the whole 2 seasons, the first season and second season. Every single woman has the right of way, basically, because basically she can fool any guy. That's it. And it's same thing with that guy Tyrion. You know, all the women have a way of fooling the man. And
it seems that all guys' price is sex in this. I don't know if it's entirely true. I mean, there's somewhat true, but they make it seem like, you know, all guys really love.
Remember that? Oh, I don't know. You can talk about it later. But that guy, that black guy, I forgot his name. The
He's just a pirate. We don't know his name. There's a black pirate, I believe. They ran it. Yeah. Stannis ran. Davos ran it. We'll get to that. That was actually. Let's get right to it because that's where we are. Let's take away Davos, who is Stannis Baratheon's right hand man, and everyone knows Stannis is the eldest living brother of the Baratheon. He's the rightful heir to the kingdom. And Davos meets again. We don't know. He's a pirate, and then Davos wants him to help him plunder, quote unquote, the city of King's Landing and help him with ships. Everyone seems to need ships because everyone is saying that King's Landing, the only way to take King's Landing is by having ships on the water because it's right on the shore. So everyone is trying to team up with someone who has ships. And, you know, the pirate tells him what has the world come to when smugglers must vouch for the honor of kings. And then he's walking with Davos, and then he's just so dirty, this guy. I mean, he says he won't do it, and then he says he'll do it if he can have Queen Cersei. And then Stannis is like, listen, I don't think you could get Queen Cersei, dude. Like, I'm sorry.
I can promise you gold and everything. He said, but I can't promise you, you know, to have Queen Cersei.
No one could get Cersei, dude.
And then he said, which I thought was funny. I thought it was another good quote. It was kind of dirty, but it was a really funny quote. And he was like, the only God is in between a woman's legs.
It's so bad. I don't like to say this. Sorry for all you faithful people out there. It's really bad, but let's take it for what it is. So he said the one true God is what's between a woman's legs. So he shows that, you know, the show like these people worship sex, dude. Like, that's all they do. Like so his God is sex.
Out of nowhere, and they're like, ooh, this is something really nice.
It seems like they need to get some good wives or some good girlfriends. I mean, like it's like they don't have anybody, and then they just see a woman. Oh, let's go have sex now. Like, I mean, what the hell? Like, oh yes, like, and they just sell. Like, it's like they're facing life without sex for years, and there's a woman. It's like, oh crap, I want to sell my child and my whole world for that, you know, thing that I won't say. So, and then I didn't like this quote. He says, get into this thing where the other kid with Davos tells him, you know, it's not about you. He gets to this thing where he tells the pirate, you know, you think we're gonna do all this so you can rape Queen Cersei? And then the pirate tells him, I'm not going to rape her. I'm going to bleep her. What is that, dude? That's so dirty. Dude, do you find that disrespectful, Mona, as a woman?
It is disrespectful. A lot of the stuff in this show is pretty disrespectful. Like, they show like way too much like about the woman and about like screwing the woman and like really like doing it in a nasty way. And I feel like it's kind of bad, you know, but I mean, the whole show is not really about that. That's just the entertainment part of it, for guys at least, you know, but for girls it's kind of dirty and it's kind of uncomfortable. But, you know, I mean, whatever, it is what it is, you know, like, you can't, you know, change it. But I feel like that's not the important part of the show. The most important part of the show is really you know, the war and the king and the queen and stuff like that, you know, like, so that's it. But to answer your question, yes, it is disrespectful, and it's kind of annoying, but whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, I think.
I think all shows have that, you know, like, all shows have taking over the woman and making her like my slave and stuff like that. But, you know, they don't have that about the guys, of course, but they have it about the girls. But
well, that's not entirely true. They do have Queen Cersei. She's making a bunch of guys her slave. Yeah, and
they don't really show it as much as they show the girls, you know.
Yeah. I think they do need to show. I think nowadays it's the opposite. Okay, guys have become women's slaves. So yeah, I think you're good. Not to get too sexist. Let's but, you know, respect that. I mean, I could definitely see as a woman, you know, they do show like women are, you know, they got the whorehouse and the prostitutes, and, you know, all the women are selling themselves.
Yeah, it's a little too much, you know. Like, I feel like they need to decrease it a little bit. But maybe, I mean, it's a guy's show. I mean, I'm a girl, so I mean, it's a guy's show. So I guess guys, maybe you need to ask your viewers, you know, like, do guys really like seeing that all the time, or do they, you know, just want to get to the nitty-gritty of the show, you know? So what's really important to them, you know?
I mean, yeah, well, definitely guys like, you know, women to throw themselves at them, and that's definitely in a guy's, you know, head. So they try to play on that, like, ooh, you know, like, so they try to play on, like, getting the woman to throw herself at the guy. Of course, that's not what really happens. Girls don't always throw themselves at guys. So it, in a way, it gives what guys want, but in a way, it doesn't paint a real picture of reality. Because then guys also, the problem with that is they end up thinking that girls are worth that. You know, they don't appreciate them. They need to appreciate them more. When they see stuff like this, sometimes, you know, but I don't think people are stupid. I think they know this is just a show. And, you know, real life hits them in the head when they go out to the club and see the girl. And, you know, it's not that easy. So, you know, I think that's that. And then we'll get into what happened with Melisandre. She's, I don't know, the witch. And we'll get into that a little later. But she also gave sex to Stannis. But then before we get into that, Tyrion talks with the Queen Cersei about losing the trust of the people. And she tells him that, you know, he tells her that, you know, like, you killed the babies. What's up with that? You know, basically we find out that their mother died giving birth to Tyrion. And then she says there's no bigger joke than that she died for your life. Oh, ouch. That's just she's so cruel.
I think she just tried because he was digging at her, and then he was right, and she kind of felt really, like, guilty and hurt. But then after that, she wanted to give a big dig to him and say, you know what? Like, she just wanted to hurt his manhood, I think, like, and make him feel like he's worthless. And because he killed his own mother, you know, like, coming out.
Well, he didn't kill his own mother.
Well, he didn't kill her, but she made it seem like he killed her, you know? Like, I mean, he just, you know, he was a baby, you know? Like, his mom was giving birth, and that's it. Like, but she made it seem like, oh, you killed our mother. You know, you came out into this world, and you're the biggest joke. She was just trying to hurt his manhood. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, just so everyone knows, the dig that he gave to her was that, like, kind of letting her know that he knows about her and Jaime. So that's what made her mad.
And about the fact that she killed babies.
But actually, I think it came out that she didn't. It was Joffrey, and she didn't do anything. So I think what Tyrion was saying was actually Joffrey's orders, but the fact that she was part of it, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Tyrion, I felt bad for him there. I mean, Tyrion, I'm a little confused about him, you know. He's always saying, I'm not an honorable man and I can be bought with gold and all this. Then he has this honor that comes out sometimes, like, right then and there, you know. He says he's not honorable, but then, you know, I love Tyrion, man. He's one of my favorite characters, honestly. So this is one of the final scenes. Right before the final scene, Davos tells Stannis about the pirate, and then he orders everyone to leave. And then Melisandre, the girl that ran the ceremony in episode 1 where they changed gods or they changed religions or something, she keeps telling Stannis, don't worry, you don't need anything, our gods will help us. And Stannis is like trying to believe her, but like, and then she comes out of nowhere and says, oh, well, in order for my gods to help you, we need to, you know, do it, you know, and I'll give you a boy.
That was really random. She starts talking about his old wife and saying, oh, your wife is sick and she doesn't want you and she didn't have any kids for you. Then she's like, oh, in order for the gods to help you, you need to take me and blah, blah. And she just like takes off her clothes like randomly. And it was just, and she was like, oh, I'll give you a son. And he was like, oh, you'll give me a son. Okay. And he throws her on the table and it's like, what is this? Like, it's like, oh, I'm going to give you a cupcake here. Okay. And he like takes her, like, it was just really stupid. But I feel like this girl is onto something. Like, she's really she's really tricky. She's really sneaky. She's a witch, for crying out loud.
There's something up with her, man. And
you need to stop trusting witches, because the last time they trusted a witch, the guy died. So, you know.
I don't know. There's something sneaky with her. It looks like she's just, you know, like.
I think she's just desperate for
It's like, you know, it's that girl that's like, oh, she desires the guy so bad and she's willing to do anything for him. And even that could be degrading to women. I don't know. But that's what it seems like in this scene. And then I don't know how she knows she's going to give a boy anyway.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'll give you a boy. All right, hardy
Everybody that has sex in this freaking thing says, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a boy right now." Yeah, it's happening. I'm gonna give you a boy. I'm gonna give you a boy. Every single person, I want a son. I want a son. It doesn't work that way, guys.
Yeah, it is what it is. So she says, "Death by fire is the purest death." But they go and she has sex and whatever. It's that. There's nothing else to it. But I think she's going to be part of, I don't know, his downfall or his help, or I don't know what's going to happen with her. My prediction is that I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get out of her. The final scene, very important. Jon Snow finds out that guy who is giving them shelter, the leader of the village who has all the wives, is giving his sons away to the walkers. So he marries his daughters and gives away his sons. So Jon Snow at night walks and sees something walking at night, and then he hides, and then he hears the baby, and as he runs to the baby, he sees the walker take the baby and run. And then as he's reacting, the guy turns around and hits him on the head, and the episode ends. So we find out. That was pretty sad.
Yeah, that was really, really sad for me. I got really emotional during that part, but hopefully Jon Snow will be able to fight this guy. I'm really worried. I hope he stands up. I really do.
I hope he stands up here. I don't know what's going to happen. Episode 3, we'll find out if he's going to get captured. A lot of things going on. This is really good. Let's find out what Melisandre's going to be up to. We got to find out if Jon Snow is going to be captured. We got to find out Theon's dad, what he's going to do. Is he going to fight Robb Stark? What about the pirate? Is he going to help Stannis? There's so many great issues. We can't find out the episode. We'll find out episode 3, hopefully. Any comments?
Can't wait.
So this has been your episode of Guyfy for Game of Thrones Season 2, Episode 2. Go to Guyfy. You can go to guyfy.com where we have more of information about the Game of Thrones articles. You could go to guyfy.com and you'll find Game of Thrones. Just go ahead over there, check out the articles, and we also do some in-depth video commentary on YouTube. So go ahead and check that out, and bye-bye, everyone.
Oh, yeah.